Susan and I recently moved Wild and Woke's hosting platform to Anchor and are loving every second of their user-friendly, minimalistic approach to podcasting.
Anchor offers creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. They also take the hassle out of distributing your podcast to well-known platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many more by doing it for you.
Not only is Anchor completely free, you can also earn money from your podcast without a minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And remember, all stories start somewhere. Be wild, stay woke, and question everything.
Just show up and press record.
Okay, so we're just going to have to start over, but that's okay. I don't even remember what I said. Okay, so just to give a little background, Ariana is not with us this week. She's in a... What was that?
It sounds like you're saying she's not with us anymore. She's gone.
Ariana is no longer with us. JK, she's at a funeral. She thought she was going to be able to make it back for this, and she's super bummed. She kept texting me. She's like, I feel so guilty. I'm like, chill. I'm not going to fire you.
Not yet.
Not yet. So yeah, Chloe is one of my friends here in Birmingham. We met when I owned my boutique. I did that for about a year. She was my model. She's wonderful. She's a great person. She's beautiful, all of the above. So yeah, she's going to talk to us today about her podcast a little bit and about some creepy stories that she has. So I'm going to sit back and let you just do your thing, girl.
I wish you guys could see me right now because I'm like so excited.
Yay!
So like she said, I have my own podcast. It's called the Recovering Dramatic podcast. It's coming out every Tuesday on Thursdays. On there, I kind of just bitch about dramatic things. Funny enough, whenever I was growing up, my family always said that I was the dramatic one and that it was going to be a bad thing. It's made my life that much better.
Yes.
I'm like thoroughly living my best life in all the dramaticness that it is. So if you ever just want to hear someone bitch about things for 45 minutes, the Recovering Dramatic podcast is for you.
It's so good. I highly recommend it. You can find it, on iTunes? What else?
Yeah, on iTunes, Spotify. I think you can find me on the radio, what is it? I don't know. Pretty much if you Google it, you can find it on whatever streaming site you need.
Perfect.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, like I said, I'm just going to jump in.
Yes, I'm here for it.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Seven Gates of Hell in Collinsville, Illinois. And to cite my source, I'm using Warm Soda Magazine, written by Alex Peters. Collinsville, Illinois, the city, is about 45 minutes from where I personally grew up in Illinois, but it's 10 minutes down the road from where I went to undergrad at. So the Seven Gates of Hell themselves, physically, they are a series of railroad trestles that run along Lebanon Road, which is insane because I literally lived off this road in college.
Oh my goodness.
I could walk to these gates of hell. Yeah, it's insane. So the gates were constructed in the late 1800s they're like these short tunnels that help trains navigate through the woods or whatever, through all these mining towns throughout Illinois. So Collinsville itself is super hilly. And so what they would do is just dig a tunnel through a hill and then build these trestles. And that was how the train would get through. They build a train track and that's how they get through the hill.
Yeah.
So now the trains don't run on these tracks any longer. Just train knowledge. They came and built a lot of streamlined trains throughout Southern Illinois. So they no longer use these trestles. So that means that now they are extremely deteriorated. I've seen them before myself. They're covered in graffiti and they are surrounded by the creepiest creepy crawly, like give you like all the weird vibes woods.
Oh.
I think the settings themselves, like the woods themselves, are creepier than like the actual trestles are. Like if you saw one of these trestles, like one of these bridges in the middle of like Birmingham, you wouldn't like, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's graffiti. But the fact that it's like they're off in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by all of these like weeping willows. Like oh gosh, like just thinking about it.
So creepy.
So the urban legend, like it dates back like 40 years. Like my mom told me about this when I moved up to where I was going to go to school last. She was telling me about the 7 gates of hell. So the urban legend that is that if you drive through each of the 7 gates in order and then go through the final gate at exactly midnight, a portal from hell, from hell will open and hellhounds will come out and chase you down and drag you back to hell.
No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, thanks. It's also like if you go through the gates, like if you go through each one in reverse, like if you start with 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you go through 1, the opposite will happen, and a tear in reality will happen, and you'll be able to look upon God.
Wow, I wonder how all that got started.
Yes, exactly. Like my mom and like everyone I know, like if I tell them about the 7 gates of hell in Collinsville, like, yeah, we know about this. I was like, what? I thought this was just somebody making something up.
Okay, so wait, where is this at? What city?
This is in Collinsville, Illinois.
Okay, because my parents are from Illinois, and I kind of want to know how close this is to where they were from.
Yeah, it's wild. It's about like it's about St. Louis, like I always say I'm from St. Louis because it's easier.
Yeah.
It's about 45 minutes from downtown St. Louis into Illinois, in the middle of the boondocks.
Okay, yeah. So it's on like the opposite side of the state, kind of towards Missouri. My parents are from Hoofston, which is on the Indiana border. So it's about 3 hours. So they probably don't know about it.
I don't know. You never know.
True.
Like Illinois really, it's just cornfields and ghost stories. So you never know.
It is a ton of cornfields. Like I don't even think of, when I think of Illinois, I don't even think forest like you're trying to explain. I think of just cornfields.
Yeah, like it would be like, oh, you're going to tell me another Children of the Corn story? Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so creepy though. So have you ever been there?
Yes, I have been personally. So I'm going to go through each of the gates and tell like the story, and then I have like my own story for one of them.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
So each gate, like I said, has its own like specific kind of creepy thing around it. Gate 1 is pretty chill, probably because it's the one closest to town in Collinsville and it's really visible. Like there's still roads that drive through it. A main road that's used today is still like goes through this one gate. But it does have like a crap load of graffiti and like weird markings on it. But there's not really any like super weird stories around it just because, like I said, it's probably because it's so visible. Gate 2 is where it gets a little bit more fun. So there's this story that a young African-American boy was chased down by KKK members, like through the wooded area by Gate 2. And it's such a sad story that the KKK members caught the little boy and then hung him from the top of the gate.
Oh no.
Yeah. So like that's already like traumatic enough. Another story on top of that is that a young man was hung by his friend because of a girl. Like they got in a fight because they were both sleeping with the same girl, and one of the guys like hung his friend on the same gate.
On the same gate. Oh
yes,
my God.
This little boy was hung. Right?
Ugh.
So it's like, okay, one, like the KKK story is like, ugh. And then you're like, oh, now there's like some bad blood, like love. Like love is one of those emotions that they say like really ties, ghosts to an area.
Yeah.
So bing, bang, boom, here's a ghost story. So it's said that if you drive through the gate around midnight. So if you can pretty much time these out. We've done it before. It takes about 45 minutes to go through all of the gates. So if you start at 11 and kind of get out and hang out at each gate, you should make it to the last gate by midnight. So it's said that if you drive through the gate as close to midnight as you can see a body of a boy or like a young man swinging from the top of the gate.
That's terrifying.
Yes. And so when we did our little trip, because we were snot-nosed, know-it-all college students, when we did our trip, I could have swore I heard something on the top of the, like, kind of like, have you ever had a bird, like, shit on the roof of your car and you hear it? Or, like, when it's raining and you hear that, like, tapping noise?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I heard that when we went through this gate too. We were speeding through them. We weren't really trying to like do the whole like open the gates of hell. But we were like kind of getting through them pretty quickly. And I was like, I could swear, guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like hyping myself up. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
But that's gate 2. So chill gate 1, gate 2, we're seeing some, people hang. Gates 3 and 4, these are the twin gates. These are so super close to each other. Like you can pretty much see, if you stand at the entrance of gate 3, you can see the entrance to gate 4. And this is where most of the crazy shit happens. Because they're so close, it's rumored that a lot of satanic rituals and animal sacrifices occur between the 2 gates.
Oh,
so
God.
to kind of like paint you a picture, it's like 2 gates and then a little rock road, and there every single time somebody goes through, or anytime you see someone document that they are going through the 7 gates of hell, which back when I was in college, it was, Snapchat for days. So it was pretty much every other weekend that someone was documenting on Snapchat going through the 7 gates. God. Every single time I could have swore, like, I would see on them, like, they were finding bones, like, little, like, chicken, because we know what chicken bones look like. Everybody's had wings. Yeah. But they could swear that they see these things, or, like, I mean, being from Illinois, I've seen so many dead animals on the side of the road. It would be like, how is this, like, dead deer in the middle of this road that you can't get to?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so it looked like somebody mowed down, like hit this deer in the middle of the road, and you're like, how did it get here? There's no way people were driving this fast to mow down this deer. Yeah, it's creepy. So I've seen, since I've been there, they have unfortunately, I don't know, for better or for worse, they have put 2, like the town of Collinsville has put 2 huge blocks of like a bunch of rock piles and signs and everything to where you can no longer go through gate 3 and 4.
Really?
So like they blocked them off. Yes. So unfortunately, as of, today, you can no longer go through the 7 gates of hell. And I was told that this happened like in late 2018, when they put these roads up, or the roadblocks up. And it's because, one, there's a bunch, like, people would go out there being drunk or high, and they would get in accidents.
Yeah.
Like, not like minor accidents, but also because it was like like I said, the trestles are like falling down. So it's, it's a safety hazard. So the town of Collinsville put up roadblocks. So unfortunately, only way you can get to them now is if you walk, like, pretty much break the law, go past these no trespassing signs and get back there. But I actually know someone that just went, I would say, oh my gosh, it was the summer before. So late summer, 2018, I know someone that went, broke the law, and went down and, like, in between the 2 gates, and they had photos of, like, there's this, like satanic graffiti. There are, like, weird blankets and towels everywhere. Like, someone.
Did he go by himself?
No, it was like it was potheads that decided, like, oh, you know what? Let's have some fun tonight. And
that does not sound like fun.
I know. I'm like, you're already like, oh no, I barely wanted it. I was stone cold sober when we went through it, and I about cried the entire time. I was like, no, thank you. But yeah, it like honestly, from what I remember, it honestly looked like someone was having a powwow, like sitting on a bunch of blankets around the campfire, like it was like summer camp in the middle of these two gates. So
Wait.
imagine what you will with that information.
So they closed off to gates 3 and 4. So obviously this isn't a road that people live off of.
No, not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so Lebanon Road, it has a lot of different turnoffs, but the main turnoff, you can still go through gate 1 and 2, and then you can also get to gates 6 and 7, but 5 is a really, really out of the way, and if you're going to go to 5, you might as well go to 3 and 4 and break the law.
Yeah.
So one like a couple of them are really easy to get to, but yeah, these unfortunately these are the ones where like all of like the crazy story goes, but I actually have my own personal story from whenever we went at 3 and 4.
Oh yeah. Yes, okay. I'm so ready.
So when we went, we did stop in between 3 and 4, and we just like got out of the car and like looked around a little bit, and like when you walk, like it just makes you feel sick. Instantly, you feel you're filled with dread. It's a lot like whenever you guys were telling your Black-Eyed Children stories, like that. Like instant, like you get out of the car and you're like, I should not be here.
Yeah.
And I just instantly like, nah, I think I'm good. And so, of course, it was a car packed full of college kids, you know, and we're doing something creepy and funny. But the weird thing is all of a sudden we all just get like really quiet and you can hear water running. So if you stop in the middle, there's like a little creek or like a quarry or whatever on both sides. Coming from gate 3 on your right side is like an overgrown dumping ground where like a lot of people like dump like trash and stuff. Like their big mattresses. And on the other side, it is kind of like littered with, you know, it's where all those animal remains are. It's just like kind of a more wooded area. So we're standing next to the car and like we're ready to get on the move to the next gate, and we hear a car coming. And like the car sounded like it was like coming like towards gate 4 and moving. Like it sounded like it was already coming through gate 3. And we're like, okay. And it sounded like it's coming very fast. So we jump in the car and we start going through gate 4. But we're going very slowly and we don't see any headlights behind us. And then when we pulled through gate 4, I noticed this is so cool. I'm just thinking about it. We noticed a white trash bag laying next to the side of the road. And when we like got closer, it looked like animal remains.
Oh, God.
And I'm just like, hopefully, like, because it's a dumping ground, and unfortunately, you know, people do dump bags of, like, small animals and, like, to get rid of them, unfortunately. And so I was like, I don't know if that's what happened here, but it's just, like, it's just so eerily consistent with, like, the legend.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know. But, like, I felt watched the entire time we were out of the car.
You got out and everything?
Yeah, we got out between 3 and 4. Like, we literally got out. We're talking. Like, you know, everybody's going, oh, stop being a little pussy and get out. Like, you know, doing that kind of stuff. And everybody's like, get out of the car, get out of the car. And then, like, we went silent. And all you could, like, it was just so silent. And we heard the car. And we were like, okay, time to get out in case, like, it's the police to leave.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Like, nah. So that's gates 3 and 4. So gate 5 doesn't really have any big stories. This is where we kind of like, we didn't actually go through gate 5 because it's so narrow that there's no way 2 cars could ever fit through this gate. And so there apparently has been like this is where people have a lot of accidents because it's so narrow that like if you're being stupid, you could totally like scrape up against one of the side of the walls. Yeah, so we actually decided not to go through it because we were in like a big F-150 and like it had the big like mirrors and like I don't know, it was like one of those big yee trucks. You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
But
We live in Alabama.
Yeah, exactly. And there was no way we were going to be able to like fit through it. So we didn't go through gate 5, and that's probably the only reason why I haven't been drugged to hell yet. So then gate 6 is another little, it gets a little bit more fun again. So this is called, gate 6 is also kind of called Acid Bridge. And when you go online and you Google Acid Bridge or like 7 Gates of Hell Gate 5, people are going to try to say that these are two different things. These are not two different things. As someone that has seen it and been there and lived it, Acid Bridge and Gate 6 of the 7 Gates of Hell are the same thing. Let's get that right. So there's a story that back in the 70s, some kids decided to drop acid and drive through all of the gates. One version of the story says that the kids approached gate 6, and wrecked in front of the gate, and their car exploded like in a big fiery crash.
Oh, God.
Yes. The other version says that the kids got lost, and this is how they ended up driving off the top of gate 6 and Acid Bridge, and then they died in an explosive crash. So whichever one you want to choose, either they ran into the gate or they drove off the gate. Still.
Yeah.
So the thing is that people will say that if you're driving near the bridge, I'm sorry, I just lost my place in my notes. So the saying that if you stop, you will see a pair of headlights in the distance, and it'll come toward you, and depending on which story you really believe more, like if you believe more that they wrecked, it's going to be that the car drives right by you and through the gate. Mm-hmm. But it's not like you would see headlights, all of a sudden you think, oh my gosh, they're going to run into this wall, and then it's gone.
Is there when did you say the accident supposedly happened?
In the 1970s.
Okay, so there's not going to be any, like, evidence left today of it.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, when I was trying to do some research, it's unfortunate that a lot of this is just hearsay, and I'm sure it's just a bunch of, like, parents telling their kids not to do acid and, like, go out to these places.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, it's just, like, and so it's
still creepy.
Whenever you drive by, this one is a little bit closer to, like, another main road, and so you see headlights you can probably see headlights quite a bit. So it's almost like, how much of this is just these people being high and drunk when they're out there and being, like, all freaked out and thinking that a headlight is going over the bridge, and it looks like, oh my gosh, it's the ghost car. Ah.
I didn't even know cars could be ghosts.
Yeah. I mean, have you not watched Scooby-Doo? There's so many ghost cars.
You're right.
But yeah, so gate 6 is where, you can see the ghost headlights. There was, like, a couple stories I saw on Reddit that these people decided to, they were driving near the bridge. They stopped before they got there, and while they were stopped, they saw a pair of headlights. And while they waited for the car to pass, and, like, when the car passed, they just watched it go over the bridge and die, like, and vanish, like, boom, gone.
Oh my God.
Like, they watched a car come, and then just, like, disappear when it drove off the bridge. So that was on Reddit. We know how much we can trust Reddit.
Yeah.
So then moving on to gate 7. So remember, this is the gate that if you drive through it at exactly midnight, a portal to hell will open.
But you have to go through all the other ones first.
Yes, you have to go through them all consecutively and then go through this one at exactly midnight. Something that's kind of funny. So this gate 7 is really close to another city called Troy. And the resource that I was using said maybe it's like shade from Collinsville creating, like, the story of 7 Gates of Hell to say that Troy is like hell.
Oh my God.
Because Troy is kind of like a trashier city. Sorry to anybody that's listening that lives in Troy, Illinois. I love you.
Wow.
But yeah, it's like a trashier city, so it's like, I don't know. I was like, wow, this writer is a comedian, because that's funny.
That's good. I mean, you never know. That could be, like, the whole story behind it.
Because it's not a huge, like, a super long backstory. Like, my mom is 42, and she says, like, she's always heard these things. But when I asked my grandma about it, she was like, I mean, probably. I was like, okay, thanks, Grandma.
Probably.
But yeah, so it's interesting though, because like I found a couple different YouTube videos of people doing these things, but none of them drove through at exactly midnight.
I don't know any sane person who would do that.
Like, who would legit, like, I mean, I don't know who is like sane enough to even like do the Bloody Mary thing. Like, we always talk about like, oh, you go in the mirror and you say it 3 times, but I don't know who's insane enough to actually do it.
Not me. I mean,
who's insane enough to actually go through these things and like, in the off chance that it's real.
Yeah.
And
just go ahead.
Who would want to be drugged to hell by hellhounds? That does not sound like a good time.
Exactly. Hellhounds, the minute you said that, I was like, nope.
I think I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like the backwards way, and like you can see, like, look upon God. But then again, like, it would probably one of those things where you look upon God and then you're dead. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then there's like, you know, you have to drive backwards through it, but it's like, do I literally have to reverse through each of these? Can I turn around and drive straight through the rest of it? Like, how specific do we need to be? So we never, maybe no one has been like specific enough in these 7 gates to actually open up like hell.
So do you know of anybody who has tried this? I mean, are there stories out there?
Like, me and my friends did it one time in college. I know quite a few people that have driven through it. Collinsville actually holds a couple hay rides through the first 2 gates.
Oh my God.
Like, they have like that's their fall festival, is going through the 7 gates. Is going through the 7 gates of hell.
That's so weird.
I know. And like, when I found that out, I was like, okay, then this must be like all just a made up story. But they said like, no, we only do 1 and 2. And then that makes sense because now 3 and 4 is blocked off.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh.
I know. Like, I really want to, like, the next time, like, I go back home, I kind of want to do it.
Okay, but are you going to go through at midnight? That's a whole nother thing.
Probably not. I might just go back to, like, go during, like, the bright day, and, like, bring my Bible with me, and, like, some holy water.
I think that gate, from what you have explained, gate 3 and 4 would probably be the most interesting to visit, even if it was just those 2.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, there were a ton of rumors, and still are, even when my parents first moved there in the 80s, of satanic rituals taking place. And I remember I went up with some friends onto this mountaintop. It's called World's Edge.
Oh.
And there was like a fire ring. Oh my God, my cat's playing with my hair. There was a fire ring and like dead goat and chicken carcasses.
Yes, I'm telling you, Illinois, you have nothing better to do than summon the devil.
It's so weird. And I mean, people, you think, oh, this doesn't happen, but people really do this stuff. Whether it's like just to fuck around or they really believe in it. It really does happen.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I just don't know how I haven't had personally like a Children of the Corn like run-in.
Yeah.
With fields and fields of it. Like, I remember when I first watched that movie, I could have swore it was filmed in my backyard.
Let me tell you, I've never actually seen Children of the Corn. I've put it off and I've put it off because I like being scared, but I don't like watching scary movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess I just need to watch it and just get it over with.
There's a new Netflix movie. It's like something about the grass.
What?
It's some scary movie. It's kind of like Children of the Corn, but it's like all in like this big, huge grass field out in the middle of nowhere. I will find it and I will send it to you. It messed me up for days because it's Children of the Corn and getting lost, because I have personally been lost in a cornfield.
That sounds like my worst nightmare.
It really is. Like, I mean, like, it was the stupid thing that you would get drunk and like and then like run out into the cornfield and like we'd play hide and go seek. And I got lost one night and it was not a good time.
Illinois is so creepy. Really, just is Illinois the Midwest?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Okay. Yeah. My dad was telling me their hometown in Hoopeston, which I said is kind of on the Indiana border. There's this really long stretch of road, which is just all of Illinois, basically.
Yeah. It really is just it's one highway and then like little bitty dirt roads off that.
He said that him and his buddies would go out there in like the 70s. That's when he was a teenager. And if you were driving for long enough, you would all of a sudden start to see like a red lantern floating towards you.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll have to get like the whole story from him because he said he did it with his friend one time and they actually did see it. So I'll have to get that story.
Oh my gosh. And then it's like, Dad, were you tripping on acid?
For real, probably. It was the 70s.
Oh my gosh.
That was good.
Yeah. That's the 7 Gates of Hell.
I loved that. I want to do some more research on it. I mean, not that you didn't give us but I want to see the pictures.
Oh my gosh. Like the very first, like the warm soda ad, that I used pretty much like my background information when I had to like fill in the blanks. Yeah. It has pictures and then you can literally like YouTube it and there are girls and like there's one video like of these girls going through it. But yeah, like it's creepy. It's so creepy. Just to it's creepy during the day. Let alone at 11 o'clock at night.
Any kind of weird hometown like quote unquote urban legend like this is creepy. It doesn't matter if it's so far-fetched. It's still, if you can go to a physical location and hear like a creepy story surrounding it,
you're like, okay, thanks for that pit in my stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. So now when I tell you these stories about my undergrad, you're never gonna want to visit there either.
Okay, well I'm super excited to hear them. Let's go.
Okay. So I went to undergrad at McKendree University in Lebanon, Illinois, which is a hop, skip, and a jump from Collinsville. So, little background, McKendree University was founded in 1814. It is the oldest college in Illinois. Wow. And it was founded as a seminary. And do not let me forget to mention that it was built on a small Indian burial ground.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
That's never good.
So when the Civil War happened, the seminary opened up its doors as a more formal college. And so then a whole bunch of families flocked to the area so that the men of the house could go to college. And the families all lived mostly in these two buildings, 2 3-story buildings on campus, and random houses like a rocks toss from the campus. So there are so many documented and I'm sure undocumented, straight up tragedies that happened at McKendree throughout the years. Suicides, death, accidents, fires, all of that. And these are we know these things are happening. So when I first decided that I was going to go to McKendree and I was going to be a student there, and for the first few weeks that I was there, I hadn't really heard about this place being haunted. It wasn't until really my very I had my own personal encounter, and then I said something to someone about it, and they're like, Chloe, this campus is on one of the top 10 places in Illinois that's haunted. It's on so many ranked lists. I was like, excuse me? But apparently it's a big, huge cover-up by the president. We've had the same president since 1994, and they tried to do a big marketing revamp, and they've refused to acknowledge their haunted history.
Oh my.
Yes, because this shit's wild. Okay.
Get into it, girl.
Okay, so I have 2 stories. No, 2, 3? Yeah, I have 2 stories. So the first story is, it was during the fall of my freshman year, and I worked at the alumni house. And something you need to know, like I said, McKendree doesn't have office buildings. Instead, they put their offices and their departments up in these literal houses. So these are the same houses that the families of the students would live in like Civil War time, almost all the way up until like the mid 1900s. They lived in these houses. So it's like my third or fourth week working at the alumni house, and they have me up in like pretty much the attic in the back of the house working in my office. And it's like September in the Midwest, and so it's still pretty warm. But I always wore a jacket at work. And my boss like came up to me one day and was like making fun of me for like wearing a jacket in the middle of September. And I told him, I was like, I have to wear a jacket because it's so freaking cold in my office. And then one of the other people that I worked with in the house, they said, well, yeah, duh, you're in the nursery. I'm like, what? What does that mean?
No, thank you.
Oh my gosh. So they proceeded to tell me that my office long ago was the nursery for pretty much all the babies on campus to like chill while their parents were off getting their education on. Like that's where they all like hung out. So the story is that a baby died of pneumonia in that nursery, which is sad enough, right? Like that's sad. But when the mother came up there, like came back to the nursery and found out that her baby was dead, she threw herself down the stairs and killed herself. Sad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, doesn't stop there. So the husband heard that both of his wife and child were dead. So then he hung himself in the nursery.
Bruh.
Yeah, so no shit, it's always cold. It's being haunted by the whole freaking Brady Bunch. Like, no duh, I'm cold. It's 20 degrees. It's 20 degrees colder in here than it is anywhere else. Why? Because it's being haunted. Yeah, so that was my first encounter, and then that's what opened up pretty much the insane asylum that is McKendree.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean, the nursery? I was just like, oh, can I not work in this office anymore? They're like, nope, sorry, that's where all the like first year interns go.
I would have been like, well, guess I'm not going to be an intern anymore.
Like, I guess I don't really need this job then.
Oh my gosh, no.
I'm not kidding. And like, oh my gosh, I had one of the meanest other guys that worked with me there. He was another freshman intern. He would play like nursery music and like walk by the door and like play pranks on me all the time.
What an asshole.
You gotta stop.
No.
Oh yeah. It was, oh yeah, no thanks. Like even whenever I go back to visit McKendree, cause I only worked there for the fall of my freshman year. And when I go back, I worked, like I had a small job my senior year, kind of partnering with the alumni house, and I refused to go. And they were like, why won't you come to the alumni house? I'm like, no, we can have meetings in the cafe. Nah. I'm good.
Nah.
I'm good, thanks. We can have meetings somewhere else, or I'll phone in if you really need to have the meeting there.
How long did you work at that nursery?
In the nursery like room, I was there the entire semester. So for about 3 months, I knew of this story, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna block it out. I'm not gonna think about it. And part of me was like, man, I should have like had the balls to like, hi guys.
Yeah.
You, what up, my ghosts, my friends? But no, I was like in pure denial. I was like, nope, this is not real. There's no way.
Did you ever feel, like that sense of dread, or did you ever feel uncomfortable?
I was uncomfortable because I was cold.
Yeah.
And like, it was unreasonable. Like, I cannot describe. It's like whenever it's cold outside and then you finally come into your house where the heat's been on all day, but the opposite. Like, I would come in from 70-degree weather and it would be a good like 40 degrees in this room.
That sounds miserable.
And everywhere else. And I was like, okay, but it would make sense like if I was in the basement. By the way, the basement of this house is freaking terrifying. And they would always try to make us go down there and grab stuff. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Was it just storage?
Yeah, I'll be like, you can wait for the next shift. The next one can come get it.
No, I would have
But
been
yeah,
like, well, I don't need this job.
If it was cold, it would make sense if it was cold in the basement, but no, I was in the top floor, and the sun would shine through the bay windows. Like, it's a beautiful big Victorian house with huge bay windows.
Oh my god.
And like when they told me that story, I literally looked up and I'm like, I'm looking at the rafters right now where some man hung himself.
And when did you say that was?
When the story happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No idea.
But it's funny because like the very first, like whenever I Googled McKendree haunted McKendree, that's literally the first freaking link in the first story. I was like, oh shit, it is. I'm not dreaming this.
I'm surprised there's no dates with it.
No, it's so frustrating. But like it kind of makes sense though, because this place has been open since 1814.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, 1828. That's when we were founded. 1828. So like it makes sense that like there's no big dates. But yeah, like the very first thing I looked at was like, oh yeah, somebody, like a lady or a kid died, and then a lady threw a thing, and then a man hung himself. I was like, cool.
Cool.
I dealt with that every day for 4 months.
I love that story, but I hate that for you.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is how I'm going to start my college career off, being haunted. I was like, oh, my luck, I'll pull a poltergeist home with me.
No,
But
that would be
I
horrible.
one more story.
Let's hear it, girl.
Oh, this is a little less exciting than the other one, but it's still super freaking creepy. So, the second story comes from my sophomore year, and I had night classes in Clark. So Clark is one of those buildings that the families lived in during the Civil War. It was one of those three-story buildings, and then they renovated them to classrooms. So people lived and died in these rooms, and now I'm trying to learn physics.
That's so weird.
Yes, like if you look up McKendree University, which I highly encourage you to, it looks like the oldest. Like, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, no shit, that's the oldest college in Illinois. It has not been updated since.
How do you spell it?
McKendree. McKendree University. And almost all of the original buildings were built in 1828 when they first opened, and that's still what we go to class in. Wow. There's only 2 or 3 buildings, there's one educational building, and then the library and the dorms are really the only thing that's new. It's a very small campus, and it's very old.
These are creepy looking buildings.
Right?
Wow.
Imagine trying to walk home from the library at 11 o'clock at night, and you're a scared little freshman. That was my life for 4 years.
Wow.
Yes. So Clark, like I said, was one of those buildings that were renovated into classrooms. So I'm sitting down for my very first session of my night class. Appropriately, it cracks me up. It's a history class. So, of course, the history teachers at McKendree are eclectic in their own right, but they love talking about McKendree's history as well. And the provost and our president hates that. They're like, don't tell them the scary stories.
Oh my gosh, get over it.
Yeah, Halloween at McKendree is a freaking blast.
Oh, I bet.
That's whenever it's no hold bar, we're talking about all the stupid stuff that's happened at McKendree. So I'm sitting down.
Is it a big school?
No, I mean, I think I went to I think my graduating class was 1,000 people.
Okay, yeah. So is it like a
yeah, it's a private university.
Okay.
That I think that the most people we've ever had on campus, living on campus, about 6,000, and then our total enrollment was 10. Because a lot of people commute because it's in a small town surrounded by quite a few small towns, so a lot of people commute there.
Okay.
But it's crazy enough. It's just so funny to me that McKendree University is on a bunch of top 10 lists within the past 5 years for academics and our sports teams. Our bowling team is top in the nation for 2 years, and our cheerleading team was top in the nation for 3.
Wow.
We have a very good record in sports, and we have a very good educational record. Our basketball coach is actually the most winningest coach in NCAA Division II.
Oh
No
my
one else
goodness.
won more games than he has. Of course, he's like as old as Father Time,
Yeah.
but
I mean, that's how a lot of those liberal, like private liberal arts colleges are. My brother went to Limestone, which is in Gaffney, South Carolina, and it is so little, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's so well known for like football, not football, lacrosse, and like just the most random things.
Yeah, it's like not like the big sports. So like down here, like if you were like, oh, we like bowling, Roll Tide would roll over you. But
Well, yeah.
but yeah, it's so funny to me when I'm like, yeah, I went to like my high school graduating class was 65, and my college graduating class was 1,000, and I think it was like 1,100.
Wow.
Like that's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sitting down. I just got off track.
It's okay. It's okay.
So I'm sitting down in history class, and the first thing my professor tells us is to not stay in the building too late after class. So that's sus. That's so suspect. And like, of course somebody's like, why? So the professor tells us that a Civil War soldier is known to close and lock doors late at night. Like just walking through the halls of Clark, slamming doors and locking them. Yeah.
That sounds terrifying.
We're like, okay, that's too specific. But when you think about it, McKendree themselves had their own regiment in the Civil War. Because there were so many men flocking for education at one spot that they ended up getting drafted into the Civil War as their own regiment.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like we have a huge rock, right? There's a huge rock right next to there's literally an Indian burial mound in the middle of campus. And
No.
this saying like honoring the McKendree Regiment I think it's like 1860 something on it. And you're like, oh, cool. So, like, like, oh, Civil War soldier. But then if you think about it, what if the Civil War soldier's coming back to visit his family after he's dead? Boom. Creepy.
Yeah. So wait, are the dorms creepy?
The dorms are a whole nother story.
Okay.
I wasn't going to talk about it because I haven't personally lived it. But apparently 2 years before I got to McKendree, a girl killed herself in one of the newly made dorms. This was like, I'm not kidding, they said this happened 2 years before I got there, that a girl killed herself, and then McKendree tried to cover it up, and so they literally just boarded up the door, boarded up the room with all of her shit still in it.
No.
So if you go, it's on the 3rd floor in Baker, and so if you go into this dorm, you go up to the 3rd floor and you walk all the way back, there literally looks like there should be another dorm, like another door right there.
Oh my God,
all
her stuff is in there?
Apparently.
No.
And I was like, guys, there's no way this happened like 2 years before we got here. And they were like, how do you know? Like, McKendree covered it up.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
I'm glad you told me that.
The dorms themselves, there's so many wild stories of, people seeing stuff. I remember the dorms that I lived in my freshman year, and then everything else I lived off campus. But my freshman year, I lived in the suites, which were set off of the campus a little bit more. And I remember people saying that in the floor below me, that they would wake up and swear there was someone in their room.
Ugh.
And I was like, well, it could be someone breaking in. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guys, and they were guys, and these were big macho football guys. And they would tell us all the time, no cap, there is somebody in our room. And we'd be like, okay, it'd be different if girls were saying this, but you guys are big burly men and you're kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm freaked out. Yeah, I'm not kidding. McKendree is freaking wild.
That is crazy. I kind of want to go see now for myself.
And, it's funny that, you walk around now, and if you didn't know all the shit that went down, you wouldn't, there's nothing. You would not hear a single peep. because, like I said, McKendree's president, he did, like, they revamped the marketing, and, you know, for good, because McKendree's enrollment is way up, way through the roof. They have all these awards, all this donor money coming in, you know.
Yeah.
And you never know, that might not be happening if they were rumored to be, like, super haunted.
Yeah.
Like, that might just, like, taint her reputation.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so this Civil War dude. So yeah, my professor tells me about, you know, the Civil War soldier that slams doors and locks them. So it was sometime, it's so coincidental. It was like during the time that we were talking about the Civil War, and we were staying after class just a little bit, so our class would end about 7:38. And we were hanging out after class in, like, the bottom floors, like, lounge area, and, like, trading notes, pretending like we were going to study. No, we're just screwing around. So it's, like, it's late at night, so I really want to say it was, like, 10:30. We're just screwing around, and we're just pretty much being loud as shit. Laughing and yelling and just, like, hooping and hollering, all that. And then suddenly, right above us, there's a big slam. Like, it sounded like someone dropped a bowling ball.
Oh no.
And, you know, like, oh my God, like, they're old buildings. They were literally made in the early 1800s. So creeping and cracking, you're used to that, and, like, that's normal. But this literally sounded like books fell off a desk. So we were like, okay, it was probably just one of the professors in their office, because the floor above it was all offices. Like, it's probably just a professor in their office, no big deal. So we get back to, like, whatever we're doing, getting loud again, and then, like, another 15 minutes or so go by, and then a big slam. I could have swore it sounded like a door closing. I was like, I swear to God, I'm about to get shot by a Civil War soldier. So me personally, I got my ass out of there ASAP.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I'm not having this. I've already almost got haunted my freshman year. I'm not trying to get haunted again. But one of the girls that stayed, it was her and a guy, so who knows what they were doing. But they stayed. And she swears to this day. I saw her at the reunion, like the homecoming reunion this past year, and she still swears to this day that she heard, like, 5 doors slam all within, like, 3 minutes, and, like, some guy in a uniform out of the corner of her eye.
Oh no.
There's it. And when I saw her at homecoming, she was drunk, because, like, duh, that's what we do. And I was like, hey, do you remember that time that we, like, got haunted? And she was like, girl, that was so real. And I'm like, I still don't, like, obviously you're still sticking to the story, like, 4 years later. I'm so freaked out.
Yeah. I would not be taking night classes.
I know. Yeah, like, after that, I literally would only take a night class if it was in the brand new building that was built, like, in the 90s. I was like, I'm only going to take classes there. This is too new for things to happen. Like, I'm good.
Yeah. I just tried to Google. I mean, not like it's going to show up, because I'm sure the, excuse me, the committee, the, like, board or whatever is not going to. But I tried to Google the, like, Baker Hall suicide, and literally nothing.
Not a single damn thing, right?
No, but there was, like, a recent death, I guess, in January of last year.
Yeah, a couple, like, unfortunately, so I don't want to speak ill of the dead, because it just recently happened, and I actually knew the kid.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's actually, he was a freshman when I was a senior. But there's some people saying that this kid that committed suicide, that he had been seeing things, like, spooky things, and, like, he was rumored to be talking to people, like, talking to himself a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they always say that, like, I mean, I don't know if it was mental illness or if it was, like, possession or whatever. I don't even fucking know. But they always say that schizophrenia shows in men, like, 18 to 22.
Ugh.
That's when it starts to show.
Wow. Yeah.
That's sad.
I mean, like, there's literally there's not been anything out really about it, just because it literally happened at homecoming when I was home last.
Yeah.
Like, it happened the Saturday I was home, back in October.
That's so sad. I hate that. I mean, suicide is sad no matter what, but
Yeah, and then I was like, then a whole bunch of rumors started coming out about it being like spooky shit, and I'm like, okay, stop.
yeah.
No. I was like, I don't want to I don't want to talk about it a whole bunch because it makes me feel like, oh, sad if it's not true. You know, like when you talk about things and like you're removed from it, you don't feel as bad, but like I knew it did. But I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it really like part of me is like believes it 100%.
Oh yeah, like I would too. I mean, I'm more prone to believe like something else was involved or something else happened. That's just my personality, but it's just weird stuff.
There's another story. I don't know if you're seeing it in your in your research, but another kid froze to death last winter at McHenry.
I did see that. They said it was like he died of hypothermia, but then there was an article like the next month that said that foul play might be involved.
Yes.
What?
Wild shit. There's still no fucking word about it.
And that was a year ago.
Yes, not a single damn thing. Apparently, I'm pretty sure he wasn't a foreign exchange student. I don't remember. Was he a foreign exchange student?
It looked like he was an athlete.
Yes. So that's all. McKendree is nothing but athletes. But he apparently got drunk and like left a party to walk home, which a lot of people do because everything's so close there. But apparently he wandered out, fell asleep, and like nobody went and like picked him up. But like people drove by him. Like there's stories of like people that I know drove by him and like didn't go get him, and he froze to death.
Gosh, it just makes me like want to shake.
It makes me terrified
children
for my future kids to leave. Yes.
That's so scary. And I mean, I don't know. So I'm 29 now, and I can't tell you what my 19-year-old mind would have thought if I saw somebody on the road. Like, I can't say, oh, I definitely would have stopped and helped them. I don't know.
No, yeah, the house that he was found in front of was one of our good friends' house, and he's a resident assistant, so he's like an RA.
Yeah.
You know, so he's in charge of keeping like people safe, and he was found in front of his house. And the crazy thing is that his girlfriend came home, like, to his place about midnight, and this kid supposedly was out there at midnight. So she, like, walked right by him.
Oh, my. Does it really get that cold? He could die of hypothermia?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Like, it's that. I mean, but if you think about it, these kids are probably, like, I mean, whenever I went out, I was not wearing a jacket. I was not messing up the outfit.
True.
You know, like I was bold and brazen. I was not about to wear a jacket over my hoe outfit.
True.
So, you know,
that's so sad. I hate that.
Like it's like so much crazy stuff has happened at McHenry, and now crazy shit's happening again. And I'm just like, I don't know.
I think it would be really cool to do a whole episode. Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hold on.
Hi, puppies.
Babe. No. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to cut all that out. I think it would be really cool to do a whole episode on like colleges and like have weird haunted stories. You know what? I'm gonna put that in our list to do.
Or because even honestly conspiracy like cover-ups.
Oh my god, yes.
There are so many, and like I hate to say it because I'm part of Greek life, but Greek life cover-ups are freaking real.
Okay, so just on TikTok, and you need to like shout your TikTok out because you're so funny. Oh my
god, I was upset. Every time you guys talk about TikTok, I freaking die because I'm like, I feel the same way. Like, I'm only 24 and I feel old as shit.
Right? Some of these kids on there are so cringy, and it's like, I cannot imagine as a 15-year-old humping the camera, knowing that your friends at school are going to see that.
No, what makes me like really excited though is like by the time these Gen Zers are like going to be getting like their big kid jobs, I will probably be the hiring boss
Yeah.
And that's the first damn thing I'm gonna do is pull up their TikTok and show it to the entire hiring board.
Oh my God, I love it.
Work with, they honked the camera and Grace like rubbed their thumb on their chin and like did the little thing. We're not hiring him.
It's so awkward. Like every time I watch it, and I mean, don't get me wrong, some of them are pretty attractive, but as soon as they start to do that, I'm like thinking to myself, okay, they're alone in their room in front of a camera. It's just weird.
I am ready. I'm waiting for the moment that I'm watching one of these TikToks and like the Trebek guy or like the people that used to catch a predator bust through my front door. And I'm like, oh shit.
For real.
Like, I'm sorry for watching the 17-year-old hump the camera. My bad.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know he was 17. I thought he was 20.
It's like whenever the Magic Mike movie got real big and all of the guys were doing like the thing where you would like jump up and like roll down to the floor really slowly and like kind of like hump the floor a little bit. You remember that?
Yes.
It's like that's whenever we were like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And now we're so far removed from the youth that we're like, I'm a pedophile.
Yeah. Okay, so my birthday was actually yesterday, and I really feel like when I'm not with people that are younger than me, I feel so young, and I'm like, hell yeah, I have TikTok, I'm hip, I'm cool, and then I get around people who are under the age of 25, and I'm like, nope, I'm not as cool as I thought I was.
Oh my gosh, yes. See, like my boyfriend, I'm 24, my boyfriend's 30, and most of the time I would never even think that he's even older than me, or I get confused that I'm only 24.
Yeah.
And then like we'll talk about Instagram or like Facebook or like TikTok's a thing. I'll send him a TikTok and he's like, how do I open this? I'm like, oh no.
Rich is that same way. He's only 4 years older than me, so he's about to be 33, but he has no social media, like nothing. You cannot even find him if you Google him.
If I didn't force him. I tell him to have it just so I can tag him in things.
I love it. That is love right there.
And he's like, it's so funny because when we, like within like the first couple of dates that we had, he was like, oh shit, you're one of those blogger girls, aren't you?
Aww.
Yeah.
Yep, that's me.
Like, yeah, one of those girls. Like, I have a healthy obsession with social media. I personally love social media for all the good things that it is, I love TikTok for all of the, people are freaking funny. Like, these kids are hilarious.
Well, and there's actually like helpful things on there, like
the coupon people.
Yes, the coupon people.
My life.
And then. So I found this food guy on there, and now I follow him on YouTube, and I've made a few of his recipes. So I love social media, but my background is marketing, and so I feel like I have to love social media, and I don't know. Anyway, I love it. Hold on, let me see what time we're at, because I mean we've been talking for a while. Okay, an hour and 5 minutes. I don't know. I'm super excited so we're going to record with Chloe this Friday. And do you want to kind of like give a sneak peek about what it's going to be about?
Yes. So we're going to be recording this Friday, like you said, for my podcast, the Recovering Dramatic Podcast. And so it'll air not this coming Thursday, but the next. So whatever date that is, I have nothing in front of me with a calendar. So it'd be airing then, and pretty much what we're going to do is just talk about, like, you guys are gonna hopefully share, your most dramatic story.
I know that Ariana will have some good ones because she is dramatic, but I am just not that dramatic. So I'm gonna have to dig.
One time it's always like whenever you get over dramatic about something or like just something happened, just like a dramatic story. You'd be surprised how many you would actually have.
I do remember one time I threw a remote at Rich's head when we were fighting. Does that count?
Yes. Yes. See, I was never an emotional boyfriend fighter. I'm not like I'm not like a dramatic person as in I like fight with people or I like get really emotional. Instead, I'm more of a dramatic person, is in like every moment of my life, I'm thinking of how can I make this moment bigger and better? Like,
Yeah.
how can I be the most flamboyant person in this room?
That is you, and I love it.
Yes, is it not? And
It
so
is.
if I have the opportunity to wear feathers, I'm wearing feathers. If I have the opportunity to be standing up on a table, I'm up on that table.
But that's what makes you you, and that's like one of the best things about you. So
Thank you.
it's the best.
When I was growing up, everybody was like, you're just like, you're so loud and so like, you're too much is what they would always tell me. And I'm like,
Ugh.
but you know that Vine or the TikTok where it's like, ho, you doing too much. Like, no, you ain't doing enough.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, that's me in a TikTok.
I love it. I'm very excited. I know Ariana is. I know she's got like she was so excited when I said she needed to have a story about her being dramatic, and she's like, how many can I share?
Exactly. No, she can tell as many as she damn well pleases. And then we're also going to play dramatic or power move, where I'm gonna give you guys some like instances, and you're gonna pretty much like talk about like, is this thing like what can you do? Is it dramatic or is that a total power move?
I'm excited.
Yes, I'm super excited. You guys are gonna be my very first guests.
Yay! It's such an honor. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're breaking my virginity.
Big deal.
I know. We're gonna be connected forever.
Do you want to kind of plug your social media real quick, and then
No, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So you can follow me personally, chloe.tchloe.thies. You can follow, that's on Instagram. You can follow my podcast at the Recovering Dramatic Podcast. That's on Facebook and on Instagram. You can go to our website, www.therecoveringdramaticpodcast. We just recently, big things are happening. We're announcing a bunch of things. So get on there, follow us before this week. I always say us. It's just me.
It's you and your other personalities.
Yes, honestly,
Yeah.
my 5 other personalities are all together. We are all the Recovering Dramatic. We
I
are.
love
Like,
it.
I really promise, like, I am trying to recover from all. It's not much as like I'm trying to be like a recovering dramatic to where I'm stop being dramatic. It's not. I need to recover from all the stupid shit I've done.
Yeah, that's just called growing up.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
I'm in that good stage in my mid-20s where I'm like, who am I again?
Yeah. All right, girl.
Super excited.
I am too. Thank you for coming on, and we will talk on Friday.
So excited. Thank you guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.